of the funnest scenes is when you were dancing around to Drake.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a tiny bit of a spoiler. You said you were Team Drake. And you dished Nicki for Drake.
Uh-huh.
I'm also Team Drake. But I want to know, like, when stuff happens, like when Kanye goes on a 2-day, 3-day-long Twitter rant dissing Drake, do you see stuff like that? And if so, what goes through your mind?
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't take much notice of... I've got my own social media thing. I do Instagram, and that's kind of it. I don't even look at the comments. I'm really sorry if people have posted things that are really nice. I don't even flick down at the comments, so I stay out of it. But I do know that when I made It 2 in Toronto recently, I lived in the apartment beneath Drake. And there were nights where we were really excited about it, and we were like listening to see, like, is that him walking around up there? Is he, you know what I mean? Is he doing his little dance? And I was like, oh my God. And for 5 months I was in that town, living beneath him, and I never saw him once.
Wow.
We shared an elevator, dude, and I never met him once.
That sucks.
It does suck.
You're going to get to meet Meek, though. You're doing SNL, and Meek's going to be the guest, so that's a thing.
Yeah, no, it's
And
exciting.
like, hey, I live beneath Drake, so we might, you know, are we good? Like I said, I thought Glass was super dope. You coming back into this character and just watching you work, knowing how acting works and seeing you go from one character to the next personality to the next personality, was that straight through? Were they stopping it for you, or were you just going and going and going?
Generally, the scenes where I'd do like 4 or 5 or 6 in a row in the same scene, we'd just keep going. And sometimes he'd pan away from me to kind of see the reaction in someone's face, and I would change into someone else, and then he'd pan back to me by the time I've changed to a third person. But I was still doing that all at the same time. It's actually easier to do it without cutting. As you and I, like, we could go from super happy to super sad, but that you wouldn't want to go like, okay, just as I'm getting real sad, could you just everybody stop, let me get sad, and then I'll be sad? Like, that doesn't help, because the transition is the interesting thing in storytelling, isn't it? So even though with the collective that live in Kevin's body, it's almost like instead of getting from one state to another, instead of him being really happy and then becoming really sad, it's he's really happy as one person, but then when the sadness comes out, that's better dealt with by another personality. So instead of just becoming sad, he actually becomes another person. So you needed to kind of approach it the same way.
How much of the body language was on paper? Because a lot of it's is body language. Each character has their own little tick. Was that on paper? Was that you bringing certain things to the characters?
Yeah, it was pretty, you know, maybe it was written that he's fastidious or something like that, or he's written that he doesn't like to be touched, or he's very OCD about his neatness and cleanliness and things like that. But then you have to take that and turn that into a physicality. I think Dennis was maybe referred to as like a big, strong dude or something like that. But you've still got to do that. And the big thing with Dennis that I did, I've got a pal who's, he's not huge actually, but he's kind of barrel-chested. Weirdly like Robert Redford, he's got a big chest. His rib cage just comes out to here, do you know what I mean? And he breathes really slowly, and I stole that from him, and it gave me everything for that character, really. Added to the OCD that was written in the script as well, and about his fastidiousness with his cleanliness and tidiness and all that. The slowness of breath gave me everything. And then with somebody like Patricia, it was all about 2 things: conflict inside the character. She was almost like a nun. She was celibate. She'd never know physical love because she used to be a Christian, and now she's a Beastian. And but I think she was constantly fantasizing about being touched and about having that sexual experience as a woman. Do you know what I mean? So she was the kind of, she's held back, but she's always looking for it. Do you know what I mean? She was always looking for, is he going to touch me? Is she going to touch me? Am I going to get touched in the knee right now? And that become really fun to play, especially in Split. In Glass, she's having a much tougher time. But even then, when Sam comes into the room and he wheels into the room, I think she's, at the same time as having all her turmoil, she's still thinking like, is he going to touch my knee? Is he going to put his hand on my leg? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that gives you so much to play with.
Godzilla!
Yeah.
Xilla bitch!
Godzilla! No, that's my thing.